the other thing you can't do is you cannot decide that certain kinds of feedback will not be tolerated.
Exactly.
Right? You have to take a measure of the consequence of what you did and look squarely at it. And if you say, well, the shots definitely worked because they were always going to work. The answer is, well, how many different complex systems did you just intervene in, and you weren't even open to the evidence that it didn't work out the way you expected, that it was counterproductive? No, you don't even belong in the discussion if you don't see the need to do that.
So why are the shots still on the schedule? I'm trying to be... what? Okay, let me start with a question, a real question, rather than an interjection posing as a question. Where are we on the mRNA shots in the United States?
I fear this question because everybody tells me that there's no way forward by reaching President Trump, that he can't hear it. And maybe I'm going to have to learn that myself. We are nowhere good with respect to the mRNA shots. We are still recommending them for tiny children who don't stand to benefit at all as far as we scientifically know.
And that's an official recommendation?
Yes.
So it's on the schedule, so-called?
Yeah, it's on the schedule. COVID mRNA shots, which as I think I described to you in one of our previous conversations, all mRNA shots have a built-in vulnerability, or they induce a built-in vulnerability, which is if they are translated in cells of the body that are sensitive, then you will get a pathology because the body will naturally attack the cells that are producing whatever protein you load into the mRNA platform. It will attack them as if they are virally infected because that's what they look like. They are cells that are of you, but they are producing a foreign protein that is the signature of an infected cell, and the immune system has one and only one plan for that, which is destruction. So the reason that the COVID shots produce such a wide range of pathologies is that they flow all around the body. There's no targeting mechanism in them. They invade tissues haphazardly, and then those tissues get targeted by the immune system, as of course they would.
Including the brain.
Including the heart. So basically there's a reason that you can't put together a tight list of symptoms of people who were injured, and it's because the symptoms are as wide-ranging as tissues of the body and the various kinds of damage, right? It's all on the table. So the fact that these shots are still being recommended for children should tell you something, because they shouldn't be given to anybody under any circumstances. They were never ready for injection into people. Whatever emergency we might have thought we were in, we know we are not in anymore. There's no justification scientifically, but injecting them into children for whom there was never a justification, because children didn't die from COVID and they were injured by the shot. So why would you take a healthy child and give them something with a risk of a severe pathology when the disease it protects them from isn't a serious threat in the first place? Further, we don't know what we're doing to their lifetime capacity to fend off COVID. Apparently, they're going to be faced with it many times over a lifetime. So why would you interfere with their development of whatever natural immunity they will be able to generate by artificially intervening? It doesn't make the least bit of sense. But
sounds like a crime.
Oh, it's a crime. And it's many in the medical freedom movement refer to it as criminal negligence, which I think is a mistake because it's well beyond criminal negligence at this point.
Yeah, negligence is when you just don't care enough to know something's happening.
Right. This is depraved indifference. This is the injection of these products into innocent people who are incapable of being informed and incapable of consenting, in spite of the fact that you know that some substantial fraction of them will be profoundly injured. It is depraved indifference.
So it's a very simple process for stopping the recommendation of mRNA shots to children and to adults, but it has to do with this thing called the schedule, which is the protocol determined by the federal government that guides physicians as they recommend, and in some cases require, vaccines.
Yes. I believe it could be done effectively, instantaneously, if the president was on board. And so, to my way of thinking, he can be proud of Operation Warp Speed, and he can be livid at the people who lied to him about the shot, and he can be horrified by all the damage that shot has done. And I hope that he will see that. I'm wondering if maybe what might open his eyes to this is the plight of the vaccine injured, which to me is one of the starkest horrors I've ever witnessed. It's very hard for a parent to muster the courage to ask the right questions. Most people wouldn't even know what the right questions to ask are. And what's more, the incentives in the system for doctors to get their patients so-called fully vaccinated are constructed so that doctors are absolutely inflexible on this topic.
They're going to have somebody to answer for, in my opinion.
I agree. And I can't believe that doctors who at this point know the truth are not standing up en masse.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, once again, I sidetracked you. So you were about to describe the extent of vaccine injury in the United States. I followed this from day one, the VAERS self-reporting system and all the rest, but I don't feel like I have a good sense of it.
Yeah, I don't think we have a good sense of it. What we have is, an official estimate that we know is a tiny fraction of the full number. We also know that we can't calculate the pathologies that are very delayed, of which there are many in this case. So we don't have the slightest inkling of how much injury has been done. But that's why I want to focus on the other aspect of this. The number of people who have been injured is absolutely huge. The gaslighting of the vaccine injured is an entirely separate crime. At the point that you have told people, there's a shot, it's safe, it's necessary that you get it to protect the vulnerable, and then people have been injured. I don't care how few they may be. Let's say it was only a handful of people who were injured. Pretending that they weren't injured, pretending that it's in their heads, is an absolutely ghastly crime. And I will say that there's a documentary coming out. It should be out on the 15th of this month, called Follow the Silenced. And it follows a couple of vaccine-injured people, including Maddie Gary, who is I don't know if you know her story, but she was a young girl who was in the Pfizer trial and was gravely injured, like wheelchair, feeding tube injured, and was told, in effect, this is a stomach ache, it's in your head, you're attention seeking. And I think just noticing what an absolutely heartless system would be necessary in order to treat somebody not only who took the shot, but a child who did their part for the team, joined a trial in order to get this vaccine to market, right? This is somebody who went above and beyond the call of duty, was gravely injured, and deserves every tool at our disposal to make her life as tolerable as it can be, to address her sacrifice. And she has gotten exactly the opposite. So if we